Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am popping on this evening to try and get through a tutorial as best as I possibly can. I'm doing it in the night because I've just put my children to bed. So I wanted to get straight onto it because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me. I'm hoping to get done in one video, but it may stretch to two, I don't know. I'm going to try and do it in one video because I think it'll be a lot easier. You might have seen last week or the week before I shared with you what I made for Jude for her birthday. One of the things I made for her was a stationery box. Now this is a quick one that I'm making Laura, so I'm hoping she doesn't mind that I'm showing this one for her. I've already told her that I'm making her one. So this is what it looks like, and it opens out like so. I don't want to give you too much of a thing because I wanted to be a little bit of a surprise for her, but this is what we're going to make today. I will link the tutorial that I followed. I will say it is a long tutorial and I just pretty much listened to it so that I can take the measurements and then I can put it all together myself. So I've written down all the measurements. I've got it all in pieces here. I've tried to prep as much as I possibly can. My camera's going over. I've tried to prep as much as I possibly can. I've matted as much as I possibly can. I may have to pause through bits so that I can glue my mats down, but I'm going to go through the whole process with you as quickly and as trying to put it through as simply as possible because it looks like a lot of pieces, but it does go together quite quickly, okay? If you can hear a noise in the background, it's the spray. It's one of those airwick sprays that sprays out every now and again. So if you think you can hear something dodgy, it's probably that. So I'm going to dive straight in, okay? So I'm going to pop certain things over to the side. So I don't want that, I don't want that, I want that, and I want that. Right, and I apologise about the lighting and things like that, but I have to do it in the night because I can't possibly do it in the day because of the kids. Okay, so for the base, you are going to need a front panel and a back panel. I always mark them. I cut everything out first, mark them, and then go from there, okay? So front panel, you're going to need a piece that's 10 by 7 and you're going to score on the 10-inch side at 2 and 8, okay? Now I've already done this just to save time, and then you're going to turn it around in your scoreboard on the 5-inch side and you're going to score at 5, okay? On the 7-inch side, sorry, and you're going to score at 5. So it gives you that sort of shape. Okay, so that's your front panel. Your back panel is going to be 8.5 by 7, and you're going to score on the 8.5 side at 1 1/4 and 7 1/4, and you're going to turn it on the 7-inch side and you're going to score at 5 again. Okay, so what will happen is this will be your front panel, this will be the back panel, and this will lay over the top like this. Lays over the top. I can't remember which one lays over which, but it doesn't really matter. And that lays over the top like that, comes forward, and that one comes back. All right. So these are meant to be shorter. So don't freak out if you think you've cut it wrong. You haven't. They're meant to be shorter. Okay. So that is your base panels. So let's get them cut first. Okay. So I'm gonna fold on my score lines. Quickly and efficiently as possible. I know a few of you wanted a tutorial on this one, and like I say, the one that I followed, like I say, I find her okay, but I wouldn't say well, a little bit slow, but then saying that, I'm not going to say anything because my videos are probably atrocious, but yeah, so what you've got, so on both of these, what you want to do is you get, when you fold on all your score lines, you get these 2 squares at the bottom. You need to take them out, okay, completely out. So I'll cut up this one and cut up this one. And if you've got any questions at all, or I go too quick on something and you want me to explain something, then just let me know when I can. Okay, so that's one, and God, the lighting in here is shocking. Okay, Okay, and this one. Okay, and that's your rubbish there. Right, okay, so that goes, hide it. So I'm going to put the front panel on top of the back panel. Okay, so all you need to do then is, this will come up like this. So you attach this. So you need to put some glue on here and attach this on top like so. So I use art glitter glue. I don't use any other glue because I love this stuff. Each to their own though. Use whatever you prefer. You can use like double-sided sticky tape. It's just I prefer a little bit of wiggle room, if I'm honest, and this glue is really strong. So yeah, I just love it. So okay, so I'm in shot now, aren't I? So what you want to do is just place that one on top of that one, being careful not to go over the score line, because you don't want to go over the score line because it won't bend up. And just attach that on there like so. Okay, give that a good smushy down. Okay, so what you will have then is that comes up there like that, and that goes there like so. So that is your base. Okay, right, now you want to leave it like this, and you want to mat everything before you start putting your pockets in, because it's a lot easier. Okay, now I've done that. I've got the measurements here, so I'm going to go through them. Okay, so for this bit here at the back, okay, I don't put anything on this side. It's just this back side here. Okay, and these side panels here are 1 1/8 by 4 7/8, and I just leave them as a block colour. Now with this, you don't have to mat anything. You can just put design paper on top of this. You don't have to mat it. It's just I like it to have a contrasting colour. So this is like a dark greeny colour, and this is one of my like lemon and lime colours. I'm trying to use up cardstock. I'm trying to use up my Disney stuff, so I'm doing a Monsters Inc. one. So yeah, so they go on there like that. Okay. So those are the side panels. Then the back panel here, you want, your pocket is going to cover the majority of it, so you only want a little bit that goes up the top here. Okay, and again I've matted it. All right, so the mat is 5 7/8 by 2 7/8, and then my design paper then is 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I just have an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. You can do it however you want. You can make it a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. I'm just giving you the measurements that I've done, entirely up to you how you do it. Okay, so that one goes there like so. Then we've got the one that goes on the front. This is where your notebook and your stamp pocket and everything goes. So these and these two for this side and that side on the other side are all the same measurement. So this one is 4 7/8 by 5 7/8, and the design paper is 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so one of them is going to go on there, one of them is going to go on the back there, that side, and one of them is going to go on the back that side. And then you've got your 4 side panels for this side here. So I've put my paper all the way across. Okay, so these panels here, so you need 4 of them, so 2 for this side and 2 for the front side. And these panels measure 1 7/8 by 4 7/8, and then design paper is 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, so I am going to glue all of these down. I'm going to put you on pause. Okay, so I'll be back now. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. So this is my front bit that comes up. So I've gone with the doors, gone that side as well. I've matted on the lime green cardstock. Put my back panel there. I've put my panels here where the notebook and the stamp pocket goes, and that's all on now. Okay, so we'll move on to the pockets now that attach onto this bit. Okay, so I'll move that over to one side a minute and grab all my bits from this side. Okay, so you'll have a main pocket, goes in first, all right? Then you've got a small pocket and what I'm calling a large pocket, okay? So if I go through these one by one, so you've got your main pocket, which is 8.5 by 4.25. On the 8.25 inch side, score 1.25. And so, right, I'll say that again, right, 8.5 by 4.25, and you score at 1.25 on 3 of the sides. So a little bit like a pocket. So you score 1.25, then you turn it round, flip it over, score at 1.25, and then score 1.25 on one of the long sides. Okay, now that's that one. Then you've got your large pocket, so that's 5.5 by 2. You score at half and at 1 on each side of the 5.5 inch side. So 1/2 inch, 1, turn it round, 1/2 inch, 1. Okay, you don't need anything on the bottom because it will sit on the bottom of the pocket here, so that's why you don't need the extra score line there. Okay, so that's the large pocket. And then for the small pocket, okay, we've got 4.5 by 2, and again you do the same thing, you score at half and at 1 on each side of the 4.5 inch side, so 1/2 and 1. Okay, now you want to put your mats on these before you put them in, obviously, because you are going to be able to do it otherwise. So the mats for these then, so for the main pocket, this one here is, if it focuses, 5 7/8 by 2 7/8, and the designer paper is 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. So that one will go on there. We have got the large pocket. This one here is 3 3/8 by 1 7/8, and the design paper is 3 1/4 by 1 3/4. So that one goes across the top there, not upside down though, we don't want it upside down. And the small pocket one here then is, the mat is 1 7/8 by 2 3/8 and 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, so those are the mats and the papers that you'll need. So we'll just fold these in, fold on all your score lines. And again, for this main pocket only, you're just going to take out this square because you don't need it. It's pointless. So I tend to take out the score line as well. I don't know why, I've always done that. I don't like keeping the score line in. So okay, just like that. Okay, and then what will happen then is this will sit on there. So you'll glue it on there. Oh, and I'm wrong here somewhere because my pocket is too big. How is that then? Bear with me a second, I've made one little boo-boo. Okay, so just goes to show that we all make mistakes, but it is right. The measurements are all right, but I only scored 1 inch down. I should have scored 1 1/4. So I've just done that now on my board, and I'm just taking out this little slither. I was thinking that must meet up because it doesn't make any sense for it not to. Okay, and my score line is now there, and I've just got to try and just meet. It's not, you're not going to see it because that will be glued to the side anyway. So there we are. Now that should fit better. There we are. So that fits again flush on top of there, up to the score line. Then that will come there, and then your sides here will glue onto the sides here. Okay, so that's that one. So that's the main pocket there, and then all you do with these ones is just burnish your score lines on each side. That one and that one. I apologise for this video. It's been a long time since I've done a tutorial. Okay, and then they go like that. So these fit in like that on the front of the main pocket. Okay, so I'm going to do is just going to pause it again, and I'm going to put my mats on these, and then I'll come back to you and we'll glue it all together. Okay, so I've matted those pockets now. So we're just going to attach our main pocket. So again, all you want to do now is put some glue on this bottom flap. So, like so. Okay, and then bring your project. Make sure you're on the right side now, obviously. So again, you just butt up where you did when you joined the first piece onto the back panel. So I'm going to try and get it in a shot as best as I can. And then again, you do the same thing. You just butt up, line the edges up, and take it up to the score line, but not over the score line. And then just burnish that down. And then while you're here now, you could just fold these over. Put your glue on, and then we'll attach these to the side panel here. So you might as well do both at the same time. Get a little fly in here. This bit is a little bit fiddly because you feel like you need about 3 arms, but it is doable. So pick up this bit, and then because these 1 1/4 inch sides here measure the same as these, it should just be a matter of closing itself on itself like so. So I tend to just concentrate on one side first, get a stick on that. So they should just butt up there nicely. Get a stick on my other side. Okay, so as you can see there, can't really see because there's a shadow. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my bone folder and push all of that down that side, and then that down this side. So again, you can't see my boo-boo, which is good. Okay, and then that makes your main pocket, and this is where your cards go in the back here. Okay, now our 2 front pockets go here, this side and this side, all right, or that side and that side. Is entirely up to you how you want to do it. What I do, what I find easier, is I glue these 2 together first, and then glue those sides then, so that they're all stuck together. So actually, so if you can see what I mean, so glue those 2 together like that, so they're already stuck, and then glue it straight onto the box. So I'm just gluing this first 1/2 inch bit here. Then I'm going to grab the other 1/2 inch bit this side, and I'm just going to mush them together. See what I mean? So they're together there. So I've got my flaps here, which will go onto the front of that main pocket, and I've just put them paired together, so it's just easier to manage rather than getting them to go in by the side of each other. So I'm just going to wait for that to just mush up. It does dry quite quickly. Right, again, this is a little bit fiddly. Okay, so what you want to do now is put glue on all of your tabs here. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then we push it down and we put them onto the main pocket at the back there, by making sure we are all sort of lined up and straight so that they go across there. Now, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It does, honestly, I mean, I know I'm the worst for it, because I'm like, oh God, if it's not straight, it's going to do my head in. But honestly, it's handmade, so it's meant to be imperfect. So I'm just popping my glue on, okay? I'm just going to go for it. Just going to go for it. Probably going to see a load of my hair, my grey hairs. I'm going to have to try and get in as best as I can. But these are your tabs, okay? So you want glue on this bit. Like I say, you don't have to glue those bits in the middle. You can do them one each and then leave that bit open if you wanted to. I just like them to be glued together, so it gives them a little bit more stability. So I like to lift it up, if I'm honest, so that I can get as long as my sides are flush with the box, I'm okay with that. So again, I tend to try and concentrate on one side. Because I'm using wet glue, it's a lot easier to sort of manage. So once that's caught a little bit, I'll go to this side. Okay, get this one flush. So as long as these two are flush with your sides, because you want it all to close. And then go to these two in the middle, smush these down. Trying not to hold things in place because they just peel off. So okay, and then try and get it to a place then where you can sort of hold it from the bottom and work your bone folder in there so you can tighten them down. Okay, so I hope I've explained that as best as I possibly can. But once you see what I mean by, if you glue this bit in the middle, it makes it a lot easier to put it down rather than trying to get that one in and then you put that one over a little bit too far and then you can't get that one in. So what I try and do, like I say, is, don't like the way that's not sticking there. Hang on a second, I'm just going to hold that there a minute because the paper's quite thick on this as well. So I'd rather line it up with these sides so that it's flush on the side and then worry about this bit in the middle after. And like I say, if you use wet glue, it does give you that extra little bit of time to sort of wiggle around with it and get it caught in there. But that is probably the most fiddliest bit there is to it. So your 3x3 cards go in there and your tags go in there and your cards go in there. Now it doesn't have to be that. You don't have to have it like that. You can have it with die cuts in the front. You can have it with a notebook or something if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you, but this is sort of how it goes. So that closes up around there like that. So I'm going to show you this bit here now, okay? So we've got these bits here. So we'll do the stamp pocket first because it's the easiest thing to do. Okay, so your stamp pocket is 3x2 and you score 1/2 inch on 3 sides, okay? And the mat to go on top of that is 1 7/8 by 1 3/8 for the mat, and then the paper is 1 3/4 by 1 1/4. Okay, so I'm just going to pause. I'm going to pop that on now. Okay, so that's that on there. Now this side, what you want is to cut off your triangles now. So I use my snips for this, so you can cut straight across like that, but I like to sort of taper in. So you find your score line and what am I doing now in? Like that, yeah. Like that, and like that, and like that, and like that. So you have that shape, okay? So if you bend all those in there, then you have your pocket, okay? Like that. All right, so just stick a little bit of, I tend to just stick a little bit of glue on when my glue comes out, these sides here, and then smush that together. So that holds, and then you can just stick that straight down into the book then when you're ready. Okay, so that's your cute little stamp pocket. That's so cute. Right, so that's that. Is that done that? Okay, so the notebook. All right, now I've done one ready-made, okay, because they are fiddly. All right, so this is the book that goes on here. All right, and I've got bullet paper in the middle. Okay, now this book is 6 3/8 by 3 5/8. You're going to score on the 6 3/8 side at 2 7/8, 3 1/8, and 3 1/4. Okay, so I've done one here as an example. Okay, so that's what you do. Yeah, you do, so you do 2 7/8, 3 1/8, and 3 1/4. Okay, then what you need to do is you need to turn it round, okay, because it gets really confusing, because this bit with the 1/4 inch, I don't know if you can see that score, ends up being your front bit. So this score line here, can you see this bit? I tend to turn that back on itself. It's just how the book folds. It's really confusing to begin with, to get it. And then, so that should be like your front part there. Then you want to just fold on these as normal. And then fold your 1/8 inch bit in, which is really hard to do when it's only 1/8 of an inch. So see what I mean by this now? So your book is actually only a gusset of 1/8 of an inch. Okay, the 1/4 bit here just allows you to open it up like so. Like on this book here, there's my 1/4 inch, and it just allows me to open it up so that I can get to the paper easily. Okay, so that's what you do. Then you need to cut 18 sheets of, so I did about, I think it was 6 sheets, and then I cut it down then 3 1/2 by 3, and then made it up to 18 sheets then of 3 1/2 by 3. Okay, now what the lady does in the original tutorial is she staples it. Now I have got a heavy duty stapler, a Rapesco one, but it never works for me. It's one of those things that's touch and go. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so what Laura did the other day, and I'm totally pinching her idea, and I have done this before, is what you can do is if you put your sheets together, okay, and then bind them. So put your clips on like so. Make sure all one side is flush. Grab your glue, liquid glue, okay? Put a generous amount of glue all the way along where you want it to bind. Let it dry, completely let it dry, okay? Then what you'll find then will become like notelets. Okay, so then what you can do then to put that into your book, once it's dry, again, go over it with wet glue, put it in your book. So you've got wet glue on there now, and then you would put it into your 1/8 of an inch gusset bit here and just smush it against the binding. But rub your bone folder across there so that it attaches itself to the binding, and then you don't have to worry about the stapler then. Okay, so that's how I've done this one. So my paper is in there because I've just attached glue to the binding. So I've just glued it into the binding, and you'll find if you use like a really good glue, it'll attach, and then they'll rip off then like little note looks. So if you take one sheet of this, my prototype, I'll just rip off like a post-it. Okay, much easier than stapling it, honestly, it really is. So Laura, I'm pinching her idea. Okay, so once you've got your book ready then, the mat for your book then is 3 1/2 by 2 3/4, and the design paper is 3 3/8 by 2 5/8. So I'm just going to pause it here, and I'm going to put my mat on my book, okay? Okay, so I've got my book and I've got my stamp pocket, and you need your pen loop now. Right, I'm reaching 30 minutes on my phone, so I'm keeping an eye on it. So if it goes out, then I'm obviously going to have to go on to a part 2. But we've only got the lid left on the pen holder, so we're doing really, really well. But if I just cut off completely, it's because my phone only goes to a certain amount of minutes. So I'm reaching 30 at the minute. So just to let you know that if we go out, okay? I'll keep watching it though. Okay, so your pen holder, then I've made mine up because these again are quite fiddly. They're really easy to do, but they're fiddly. So what you need is a piece of, I can't remember what the piece measured, so hang on a second. Let me get my notes. Pen loop, 2 by 1 3/4, okay? So 2 by 1 3/4 of whichever cardstock you want to, matching obviously. Curl it with your bone folder, all right, so it makes a curved edge, and then roll it. What I do is I tend to roll it around the pen where I want it to be, and then glue the end down and just glue that on top there like that, all right? So that's how your pen loop goes. So yeah, that's about it really. And then obviously make sure you put your pen loop, because obviously your pen will only go in this little bit here. You don't want it going over, because obviously you won't be able to shut up your book. So when you've got it on your pen, okay, so I'm going to grab some glue and I'm going to just glue the bottom here, all right, where my seam is. And then I'm going to pop that down onto my book like so. And I'm going to smudge that down. Okay, I'm going to try and take my pen out while I do it. And you're just going to try and flatten it as much as, not flatten it, still keep it like a tube shape, but give it something to grip onto. Okay, and then obviously you have to put your notebook up here a little bit, because you want to make room for your pen, and then your stamp pocket then goes at the side of that. Then that's, I mean, it's entirely up to you how you lay it out, but I wouldn't put your pen up here because it's going to butt against that. The pen really needs to go by here so that it goes up into this open area here, and doesn't bash against anything. So I'm going to pause it a minute while this dries, and I'm going to glue my book down. Okay, so that's that done then. So there's my pen with my pen holder, there's my stamp pocket. You don't have to use that as a stamp pocket, you can use it for stickers or whatever you want. And there's my book glue down there, so I can write addresses or notes or whatever in there. And then that just fits up there like that. See how the pen goes at the top? Okay, and then the last bit then we've got to do is just the lid. So we'll pop that over there, grab my lid pieces out. And again, got some pieces here. Okay, so your lid piece, you're going to need a piece that's 10 by 10 1/8, sorry, by 6 1/8, and you're going to score it at 2 inches on all 4 sides. Okay, so all the way around your scoreboard, 2 inches on all 4 sides. Okay, now I've got mats for these now. So your 2 shorter end mats here, these sides, are going to be 1 7/8 by 2, and then your design paper is going to be 1 3/4 by 1 7/8. So you need 2 of those, and they go on each side there. Then you've got 2 side panels that go 1 on each end there. That one like that, that one like that. Okay, and these measure 6 by 1 7/8. And then your design paper is 5 7/8 by 1 3/4. So they go on the side, and then the one at the top is a little bit larger. So that one is 6